When we're talking about the teeth, we need to talk about just 3 different types. Well, 4, I guess you should say. We need to talk about the incisors, canines. We've mentioned those quite a bit. You need to talk about premolars and molars. We've already discovered that the canines are where the front plane of the face, of the mouth, or the teeth will transition to more the side plane. What we need to be aware of is there are 4 incisors, 2 canines, there are 2 premolars, and there are 3 molars. That's just going to help us in our division here. So we'll start with the front view. And with just a little bit of poly painting, we're just going to map these guys out. This is going to help us so that we will forever, from this point on, know teeth and have a clear sense of how to work with them and lay them out. I'm going to fill this with white. Okay, and go down to black. You can turn all the other poly painting on. Let's go roughly down the middle, but favor the top. The lower teeth are going to be smaller. Okay, come straight down the middle. And you want to find those canines. Those are going to be really important to locate. So they're going to be coming down from the nasolabial, or from the nostril. And I'm going to say canine's going to operate within this range. And we know that we have 2 incisors on either side of the of this halfway point. So all we have to do is just divide this in half. So that's 1 and 2 incisors, which makes it 4 on both sides. We can make the canines a little larger. And then we have 2 premolars and 3 molars, or we have 5 more teeth at this point. The premolars are going to be smaller. The molars are going to be larger. But at least now we've got some divisions that will help us when we're thinking about how these teeth are gonna work. Let's say we're in good shape with this. Yes. All right, now we need to do the same thing along the bottom, and you can find them kind of matching up. But the incisors are going to be a bit smaller here. There's no doubt about that. Almost to where they take up basically half of what the top teeth do. So we can start to stagger these a little bit. Get our canine in there. A little bit bigger, heading right in between these guys, and now really just keep them staggered till you get to the back. It's where they start to even out. So we have a map here for us to extrude out teeth if we want to. And we can use mesh extraction, or we could use a very simple shadow box form. It's up to you. I'm going to use a shadow box and insert it and duplicate it all the way around. Using this as my guide. Let me just move it inwards. Alright, now it's time for us to go in and start to pull some teeth out. Like I said, I'm going to use shadow box really quick, and I'm going to sculpt 2 different shapes. One of them is more incisor-like, the other one is more molar-like. The canines and the premolars are right in between that. Tool palette, or I'm sorry, the tool folder, shadow box. Perspective is off for this. Okay, the important thing to note about the incisor is just how it's going to be, how do I say, it's going to be more of a knife at the front. So I'm just carving a bit of that blade in, just getting some of this. All teeth are going to pull in slightly here in the middle as they connect with their roots. Okay, I'll keep that real simple. We don't need to sculpt each one of the roots. We just need a little sense of things. All right, so there we go. Pretty basic, pretty simple, but we've got both of our teeth, and the canine and the premolar, as I said, are kind of going to kind of bridge between these guys. So let's append them and get them sized correctly. They're obviously going to be huge. Let's select the molar. And I'm going to use preview. Well, we'll start with the top first. But let's get a set number in the deformation size that we want to lower this. So it's -100 once, twice. Let's move it and see if that is starting to work. And I'd say, yeah, that's starting to work. The rest of that adjustment I can do myself. So number 3, symmetry is off. There it goes. And we rotate it to fit the gum line. Append the incisor. We have to select it as the active subtool first. Append. I already know I need to go size once, twice, and then I need to use transpose to see how this is going to work out. That's going to get resized one more time. 3 times. Okay. A little bit on the long side, and let's just scale it down. Symmetry is off. And let's rotate that a little bit. So we're getting the right angle. Got to be rotating forward. I'm going to move this down slightly. About like that. Okay, so we're going to now duplicate and just move all of these teeth into position on only one side. No sense doing both sides. So it's just a matter of duplicate, move it over. The other one is right there. You might want to rotate it now as well. So we just incrementally rotate. Okay, so let's take a look at the teeth now without our guide in there. And we're not doing too bad. This is definitely in good enough shape for us to just do some final rotation check and then start to merge these guys. Each one of these is only 26,000 polys. It's a little on the excessive side, but it's not that bad. Oh yeah, got some length issues. Rotated them in the wrong direction. So let's do this. Let's merge them all down into one. When they're merged into one, they can be quite easy to work with. You can see the tragedy that we're looking at here. All these separate polygroups that are going to make it hard to sculpt. Get rid of that by just going auto group. Now, we can help this tragedy of our teeth by going into auto masking, mask by polygroups, all the way to 100. All the way. And now you can use move, transpose, to effectively just make a change to 1. Let's put the action line on the outside so that the deformation is limited, or we have to scale less basically. Yeah. Alright, when you have one set all done, then it's time for mirroring these guys over. So we're going to use Subtool Master. And I'm going to mirror them left to right, merge them into one. And then let's mirror them again. This time in Y, and this time as a new subtool. Mirrored them straight up. Not what I wanted. But not that bad. Let's set mask by polygroups all the way to 0. Move these guys down. And I'm going to just get the outside one positioned. Use that as a pivot point and rotate them down and into place. Okay, check our guide, but you're probably just going to have to scale these in. Let's get rid of the upper teeth. You can see we're not doing too shabby here. But let's make sure symmetry is on. Scale. And scale that inwards. And I'm also going to use move and non-proportionally scale these inwards. Let's check the alignment with the teeth. Okay, and there we go. Fairly reasonable. Just inflate a little bit more wherever you need to bring these guys closer together in case the ones you had weren't brought close enough together. But inflate's going to also add some really nice naturalism to the teeth as well. You can always come in with H polish after that. And you just add a bit of a hit in some places just to, you know, remind the viewer that these are teeth. Turning symmetry off is not a bad idea for something like that. Shows us that the alveolar section of our jaw just was not big enough. So add some form in there. Make sure to turn back face masking on though. Okay, and then come in and do just a little bit of adjustment to make it look like these teeth are inserting into the bone. All that really consists of, we're working with the mandible, is just tracing the bone into the the teeth into the bone, let me say it that way. And then a little trough between them. You keep it kind of rough in the beginning. You can add a little bit of extra at the top. I'm going to lower my draw size. And when we get to the molars and the premolars back here, this is just really going to be more of a ledge. Okay, so here's our skull with teeth. I sense some problems. This is quite a straight edge here, something to consider. But we're within range and ready to go. So I'll probably end up just adjusting that, and then we're going to add the muscles to this face and see if we can progress all the way to actually building the skin right on top of that.